Hello guys, and welcome to what is, in my opinion at least, the best Gran Turismo that has ever been made. This is Gran Turismo 4, released for the PS2 back in 2004. And yeah, it's great to be playing this game again. As a disclaimer, I'm emulating this game. I'm not playing it on PS2 hardware, so I'm sorry for that if you are a PlayStation 2 purist. But I don't have PS2 hardware available, so I'm emulating this game on my PC. It should help to make the game look a little smoother as well, but it does come at the cost of some possible graphical glitches, some possible emulation woes. But yeah, just really wanted to play this game again. So thank you very much for here and for joining me on this long road ahead. So my goal today is going to be to get my B license as well as purchase our first car. So I think we're going to buy our car first and we're going to head into the B license. We're not going to be doing anything like trying to get all gold licenses or anything like that. I'm not skilled enough to do that. I absolutely love the game, but I'm not going to be able to get every single gold license. If we get golds along the way, that's going to be fantastic, but yeah, it's not going to be a goal of mine. We're going to complete as much of the game as possible, as long as the series goes on. But yes, it's not going to be an all gold. It's all going to be all more for fun than anything else. So we're going to start off with buying our first car. Let's see what we have available to us. See what pops out. So we've got a Piazza here. I've never driven that. So an 81 Piazza. Yeah, it looks pretty okay. It's got how much? 120 horsepower, 1,200 kilos. So yeah, not too bad. We've got some cheap options here. We've got a Trueno that we can take, so an old Corolla. So yeah, obviously the iconic drift car from the 80s. So that's an option as well. Got an old RX-7. Could possibly go with a Celica 2000 GTR. It's got a decent amount of power on it. Is this? Well, it's a front-wheel drive Celica. It's not a four-wheel drive. So yeah, I mean, we've got a few Silvias here as well. We've got the Qs and we've got the Ks. The Ks is a great purchase with 172 horsepower on it, 1,800cc engine, and only a weight of 1,140 kilos as well. So that's another very, very good option from the 80s. We've got a Gallant here, and we can just about afford that. So that's four-wheel drive. That's also not a bad choice. I've never started with this actually, so I mean that may be something that I could look at. We'll add that to the back of my mind. What else do we have? We've got the Skylines. We've got the baby, not the GTR, but the GTST. It's also an option that we could go for. We've got obviously the MX-5. So some nice choices there. Used car showroom 1. So this is from the early 90s. So what do we have here? We've got a Fiat Panda, so a Honda CRX. How much does this weigh? So I mean that's very light, a decent amount of power, so that's going to be a pretty decent power to weight ratio on that, and that's going to allow us to enter the FF Challenge events early on as well. We've got an Infinity available with 147. It's going to be fairly heavy though, I think. Yeah, so you'd be better off getting the CRX. We can afford a 90s Mazda RX-7 as well. Not too bad at all, to be fair. 184 horsepower with 1,250 kilogram weight. Also not a bad buy. We can't afford that twin turbo unfortunately, although that would be great. Get the Cappuccino if we wanted to run the compact car event early on. 56 horsepower with 700 kilograms of weight. You could throw on a cheap turbo onto that. You get a decent power to weight ratio out of it. You've got a bit of money to play with if you do buy that. We've got a 91 Celica available, also not a bad choice. A Prelude, can't afford those. Got a 202 horsepower Silvia Ks, so that's going with a 2-liter engine, also not a bad buy at all, and would leave us with a bit of spending money. Got a Civic there, CRX Del Sol. What's the weight on a Del Sol? 1,100 kilograms. You know, I might go with that as something different. I've always liked the styling on the Del Sol. I mean, it's a bit of an out there green color on that, and something about it is calling to me. So we might look at that as something different. Got a Toyota Sierra as well. This has the funny doors, doesn't it? Yep, the Lambo doors and some hideous pink seats inside there. But yeah, power is not very good, but the weight is very low on that. You could probably throw a stage 1 or 2 turbo kit on that, get a decent amount of power out of it. 323F, otherwise known as an Estina in other parts of the world. Also not bad at all. I've always loved the styling on the old Estina. Very nice car. Can't afford any of these. Could always go with an FTO for a front wheel drive. Also fantastic little cars. To be fair, I think I'm gonna go through everything else. We've got another Cappuccino down here, Civic. We can't afford the Eclipse or the Integra. We've got an NSX here, very much out of our budget. We could just about afford this 95 Mazda Miata MX-5. But I think I want to go for something different. That Del Sol is really talking to me. I don't think we can afford anything here. The cheapest thing that I've seen is that Prelude. We can afford this Type R Civic, 97 Type R Civic. I know that I used to, when I was younger, I used to take this car a lot as my starting car in Gran Turismo. And I mean, yeah, we can afford these, but I'm not too keen to go for either of these. We've got the MR2G Limited. Also decent power to weight ratio on that, and it would be a mid-engine rear-wheel drive, a nice little sports car to go with. We've got another Mazda MX-5 here, but I think, to be honest with you, I think my mind was made up when I saw the Del Sol. This also isn't a bad little car. Getting a good amount of power to weight again. It's just over 1,000 kilograms, 157. This is what I miss about Gran Turismo games. I mean, I loved Gran Turismo Sports a bit, I really did, but this is what Gran Turismo is all about for me. It's coming into the game and just going in and buying Astoria as a story, you know, a used Astoria with 30,000 kilos or 30,000 kilometers on the clock, and just taking this, throwing a turbo in it, and making the most of it, going into the used car dealerships and finding a bargain. That's what these sort of games are all about for me. So anyway, I think we're gonna go with the Del Sol. So let me grab this, purchase, and let's hope this isn't a bad decision. I don't think I've ever really bought this as a starting car in this game. So let's try it out. Purchased Honda CRX Del Sol. So let's give it an oil change, get rid of that mucky oil inside the car. Let Doug from GT Auto take care of it. There he goes. Let him drain that oil out. And there we go. Just even the sounds of this game just give me such good memories. You know, such a throwback. Just hear that oil draining. I remember once you get later on in the game and it's easy enough to get a, you know, sort of disposable income, just going through the used car dealerships, buying everything that you're missing, bringing them all here, and just changing all their oil. So let's, yes, I think we'll start with licenses first. So let's go with our B license so we can open up a few races, and so we can start with the Mazda Demio. So this is going to be the traditional first Gran Turismo license test. So we've got the let's see, so the 100 meter is 100 meter. All right. Oh yeah, it's a very short braking test. So basically, start the car, brake it in the zone, nothing too crazy, and we'll do this in the Demio. Nope, we're gonna fall short, so let's retry that. Alright, here we go. And it's a silver, we'll take that. Off to a decent enough start. I mean, besides failing the first test first time, but oh well. Worst things have happened. Alright, next test. So acceleration and braking 2. So generally a faster car than prior, so we're in a 3000 GT Mitsubishi. Love this car as well, definitely a lot more power than the Demio. See if I'm able to judge this braking zone. Okay, nope, falling short again. No ways. Okay, let me stop being so hesitant. Alright, I'll take that silver. I obviously let off the brake a little beforehand, or braked, let off the brake and then braked again. But yeah, just want to get past the tests basically. Alright, so license says B3, basics of cornering. So now we're not just going dead straight on the track, we're learning a little more about how to drive, and we're in a Del Sol as well. Not quite our beautiful green from earlier, but we're in a Del Sol. Oh, a little bit twitchy. I know some of you might find it a little bit of a noob move using the driving line, but I want to get through this as quick as possible. You know, make it as entertaining for you guys as possible. So I'm going to use the driving line and get through all of this. So, and even then I still only got the bronze. So to be fair, I might go for the silver. I'm quite sure that silver is very obtainable. So let's try for that again. And there's one of those graphic glitches. Should turn that ghost off. So otherwise I feel like the game looks pretty good. You guys can let me know how the emulation looks on your end. What do you think of this compared to the original PlayStation 2 hardware? And there we go. So we got the silver, almost the gold, but I can deal with the silver. So let's head on to the next license test. Alright, basics of cornering 2. So now we're in a rear-wheel drive, boy. So let's make it a little tougher. It's a pretty nice looking Sylvia, to be fair. Alright, let's see if we can do this first time. Like I said, I'm very tempted to go for all silvers, but we'll see how it goes. Again, I wish I could say that we could go for all golds, but I'll be here forever trying to do that. I mean, eventually it could happen, but... Alright, so there's our silver. On to B5. Alright, one lap run of Tsukuba. This is one of my absolute favorite tracks in Gran Turismo 4. There's just something about it. I mean, it's a very short track, really. It's nothing huge like your Nürburgrings or anything like that. But it's just so much fun to drive on. I think this game made it so great for me just because it was just so much fun to play back in the day, and I raced on this track so many times. Bring this around here. And yeah, so much fun. I mean, to be fair, playing this game now, I know that it's not the same sort of graphics that the game was running at on the PS2, but it still holds up very, very well. I know that the emulator is obviously helping with things like that, smoothing things out, which I mean can be for the better or for the worse depending on who you ask. Like I say, I know that there's a lot of purists who, you know, it should be played as the developer released it, but I feel like regardless it looks pretty decent. For a 2004 game, we're now in 2020. This game is basically just over 15 years old. Oh, let's not oversteer here. And yeah, I feel like it looks pretty good, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's the bronze. It's okay. We'll take bronze. We can always come back and aim for higher later on, or I can do that off screen as well, and then I'll just show you guys the reward cars that we get from that. Right, so we've got another acceleration and brake test. So a little bit of a longer one in the Renault Megane. Wheel spin off the line. Never been a fan of these cars. I'm not really a fan of Renault in general, to be honest. But yeah, they're not bad little cars. Let's stop that there, and it is a gold. Not bad at all. The weavy boy technique definitely working out there. Physics. So next test, B7, acceleration and braking 4. This is the final acceleration and braking test. Did we do this in a Viper? Yep. The OG Dodge Viper from the, I believe, early 2000s or late 90s. I don't know if you guys remember there was a show called Viper that I believe was released just more as a promotional tie-in for this car. But yeah, I remember watching that as a kid and thinking it was so cool. So let's try this. Is the Weavy Boy technique going to work for us? Definitely, and it gets us the gold. It's a very triumphant gold trophy music as well. It's absolutely fantastic. And our pit crew is delighted. Look at them. Applauding us. That's fine, we'll take it. We deserve the applause. Alright, license B8. There we go. So yeah, this is one of the things that I noticed when I was testing, is that in the licenses we're going to have to deal with the get ready to drive text on the screen, unfortunately. It's nothing I can figure out of how to take that off. I can get it off in the regular races, so outside of the license tests, that isn't going to stay on the screen. But yeah, I can't figure out how to get that off without crashing the game. And here it comes, the infamous coffee breaks. I hated these so much. These are just absolutely rage quit inducing, and I feel like it's going to be the same sort of thing. Yep. Let's try a route to the left. Take this route here. If we cut to the left, come through here. Let's try that again. It's a very nice route, that. Alright, let's try that. This time don't break short. Or hit the cone. Okay, attempt number 4. Oh, come on. Alright, let's try again. Attempt number 5. Let's come in, slow down around here. Don't hit the cones, and brake, and finish. Silver is a silver, and I'll take it. Very, very nice. Alright, next test. B9, basics of cornering. And the big boy M3. Around the corner, a lot of oversteer there. That's right, we're across the line for another silver. Not too bad at all, I will take that. Should be another 1 lap run now, I think, B10. Yep. 1 lap run of Laguna Seca. What are we driving? We're in a Citroen C3, or is that a C2? C3, yeah. And let's go around this track. Slow boy. Slow, slow boy. It's the infamous pace car. It's not gonna, I don't believe, shouldn't pose any threats for us right now. You know, in a Citroen C3 driving at this sort of speed level, but later on, when you're in the quicker cars on different tracks, that pace car can pose a real threat. The amount of times I rear-ended the pace car in the middle of a hot lap is just absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's a safety car in inverted commas, pretty much. Okay, let's keep this under control. This car just feels like absolute dead weight, struggling to get to even 120 right now. Let's come across here, cut that curb. Heading up to the corkscrew. Oh, and we hit a sign. So fail. Let's try again. Alright, so we won't cut too much to the right of the corkscrew next time. Let me try and remember that. Like this, it's taken 14 seconds just about to get to 100. That is a horrible 0 to 100 time. It's a horrible line through that corner as well. I don't know what I was doing there. All right. You know, the more that I look at this game, and maybe it's just because I've now been playing it for a little while. You know, I've been playing it for a few minutes. My eyes are adjusting. It really doesn't look too bad. I mean, it doesn't look too far off of an early, you know, PS3 game. I mean, the game obviously came out end of 2004. PS3 came out 2006, I believe. So it's around that sort of era, but you've got to remember the sort of hardware that this was being developed for. You know, the PS2, especially by today's standards. Whoa. Okay, there we go. Calm again. Yeah, the PS2, especially by today's standards, wasn't a powerful machine. I mean, back when it was released, you know, it was quite something to behold. It was a huge graphical jump between the PS1 and the PS2. But at the same time, the fact that they managed to get this game running the way that it did on a PlayStation 2 was pretty much a technical marvel, if you ask me. Just the the amount of detail that's in the game, coupled with the amount of content that's in the game, it's pretty astounding. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, we'll take the bronze. We'll head on to the next test. But yeah, I can only hope that going forward, I do like what the series did with GC Sports. I felt they did revitalize a little. We are in a day and age of a lot of online gaming, and it was probably the right step for the franchise. Bring the Celica around the corner. It was probably the correct step for the franchise. But at the same time, I miss this. I miss doing these sort of license tests. I miss just heading into the game with a basic credit total and working your way up, starting in the Sunday Cup. And just building up your garage. But yeah, it's different ages, different times, and we've always got the old games we can go back to. But anyway, let's concentrate again on the license test. So we've got this Peugeot Turbo 205 Turbo from the 80s, and I've completely bottled that. Let's retry. Slow that down, bring around this corner. Decent line through there. Not the best of times, but again, we'll take it. And these were fairly long license tests as well, especially compared to the prior games. I think that the prior games all had 10 license tests each, if I remember right. And these each have 16 together with the coffee break as well. We're back on Tsukuba. Fiat is understeering a little there. Tried to carry a little too much speed through that corner. But it's another silver for the cabinet. Heading to B14. El Capitan. Let's throw this Infinity into this corner. It feels like a heavy car around here, very hefty weight going through. Would have dealt with it decently enough, and it's another silver for us. It's okay, I'll take the silvers. Alright, so B15, one lap of Infineon, and we're in a chunky boy. We're in a PT Cruiser, limited edition PT Cruiser, if the trunk is to be believed. Yeah, not one of my favorite cars. This a very divided stand on the design on this car. I'm sure there's some people that love it, and there's other people who are right, who don't love it. But yeah, it came from an experimental time, I guess. I remember seeing this growing up. But it's, in my opinion, it's a hideous car and hideous driving as well. But like I said, there's always going to be fans. But I like that we had the option to buy these sort of things. I like having the option of having this many cars to buy from and choose from. that if you are one of the few people on the planet who likes a PT Cruiser, go ahead, buy it. Buy it, throw a big supercharger in it, and take on some of the big boys. That's what this game is all about. And a hell of a lot of understeer. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a bronze time. Taking absolutely awful lines through these corners. Let's head into here. Slow down. Probably slow down a little too much around the S's. But it's alright, slow and easy. Just keep pointing the right way and we will get our bronze. Let's not punt the pace car from behind, and oh wow, awful line, awful driving from me. But it's okay, we're still going to finish. Keep it going in the right direction and we'll get our bronze. And I'll tell you what, not too far off a silver, to be fair. It's a little better than I thought it was going to do. Alright, and now time for the final test. B16. I think we drive this in a BMW. I don't remember what the car is that we use. But we're back on Tsukuba. Yep, there we go, BMW 120D. Let's bring this through here. Whoa, cutting it a little too much. I was gonna say cut that without being DQ'd, but didn't manage that. Let's cut it just a little. Get into this corner here, onto the brakes. There we go. I had to tap the brakes a little on the exit there, that hurt my time, but there we go, we've gotten our bronze. And we should now be the proud owners of 1x B license. And there we go. We've acquired the license below, B license. Fantastic. And we're going to be the proud owners of the little square boy, VW Lupo. Not a bad color either. And I'll take that. I'll take that, happily. So our garage is growing, 2 cars in the garage. There we go. So let's head back. And yes, I think that what we'll do is we're going to end that episode here today, guys. So we've got the B license. So most likely what we'll do is, if I look at the beginner races, in the next episode, we will take on the Sunday Cup. We're going to take our CRX. I'll see if we can do a little bit of tuning to it. We'll tackle the Sunday Cup, and depending on how long that takes, possibly we'll take on the FF Challenge as well. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like, subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Cheers.